was so funny. I have actually never told this story before. But when I was in college, I was pre-med. I've told that story before. I was pre-med, immigrant parents, they were like doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Right.
There was only the three options. I happened to be good in science and math. And so when I went to college, I was pre-med. I was taking all of the full course load, but also fell in love with the arts. So history and English and just everything about the written word, and what our experiences have been over time. Fell in love primarily with African-American history, because to me, I felt very much like that spoke to my experiences, even though my parents are from Ghana and immigrated to the U.S., my childhood, my adolescence, my young adulthood were all about the African-American experience. And I wanted to understand more of that history and the ties to it. And so when I graduated from college, I took my MCAT. I was applying to medical school, but I said, you know what? I'm going to go sow my royal oats in New York City, okay? Now, look, I grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I went to college in Middletown, Connecticut. Where I thought I was going to New York, I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you were going.
Girl, I was like, look, I'm going to try.
Right.
With no connections, not knowing anybody. I was doing the temp jobs. I was doing whatever it took. And then divine intervention, I landed at Spike Lee's office. He had fired his assistant. He needed somebody to answer the phones. He wouldn't even ask me to be assistant. I just need to answer the phones.
Right.
Make sure that the lights were still on. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Wait, so how did you end up there? Did you apply?
No, it was my temp. My temp agency sent me there.
Oh, your temp agent?
Yeah, because
I
was temping. I was temping. And
wow.
Like literally, I think I was the only black person in their roster. And so I literally think that they were like, ooh, who's black? Who's black? Who's black? Boz, put her in with Spike Lee. And that's how I got the job. And so I was answering phones. He just talked about this the other day that Bamboozled, which is the film he was working on when I started to work for him, is being submitted into like the Library of Congress. Like amazing.
Wow.
So he's carrying around the script for Bamboozled, and I'm looking at it like, I want to read whatever he's got.
Right.
And so again, naivete, I'm like, hey, can I take a pass at that? And he's looking at me like, you crazy? But I was like, yeah, please. I studied African-American history when I was in college. Like as if that's good, a pass.
That's going to make him hand it over
Talk
to
about genius, you know what I mean? But the very long story short.
Wait, did he let you read it?
Oh, yeah, he let me read it.
Wow.
But, here's the naivete of the time and of me, which turned out to be such a great thing. I took a red pen to it. Yeah. And by the way, it's currently one of his favorite stories. Whenever we talk or he talks about me, he tells that story that like I took his script. I thought I was doing him a favor because I was like, I'm reading this script and there are grammatical errors and I feel like there are areas where character development needs a little help.
Right.
And so I made notes and gave it back to him. And he was like, who the hell are you? Like, how are you going to? And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to do that. Like I was just trying to help.
Yeah.
And so he goes into his office, he shuts the door, slams the door rather.
Right.
Very I'm sitting
Spike
there,
energy.
Very Spike energy. I'm sitting there like literally holding my purse at the reception desk, like knowing I am fired. Okay, can't breathe, thinking, what am I going to tell my dad? And he comes out and he was like, you made some good notes, you should stay. And that's how I got the job.
That is amazing.
Like literally.
That's remarkable.
Yeah. And so back to like me being a writer, I, at that time, was just trying to find any way to escape medical school. And so at one point, I told him that I wanted to quit my job as his assistant so I could go write. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, and I had like and I swear to you, this is the actual truth. Like I had the thoughts of wearing like a beret, even though I wasn't in Paris, we were in New York, but like, wearing the black turtleneck and like going to a cafe and writing. That's really what I thought.
Baguette and just
Oh,
I'm going to write.
I remember exactly where we were. We were on Madison Avenue on the corner of 43rd Street. And it was a little Chinese restaurant there. And we were sitting across from each other in the booth. And I was trying to resign.
Spike.
And
so
yeah, I
don't want to, but I have to.
The credit I have to give him is that, and this is part of what has also become part of my leadership style, which is that he never made me feel small. I never felt small in his presence. Of course, now I think about it, I'm just like, a whole like Spike Lee, like he had so much going on, and he went to lunch with me when I was thinking about quitting as his assistant.
Right.
you know? And he was just like, Boz, this is a bad idea. And I was like, what do you mean? These are my hopes and dreams. I want to become a writer. And he was like, what have you read?
Ouch.
And I was like, I've read James Baldwin, I've read Toni Morrison, I've read Nikki Giovanni. I've read, so I'm listed.
Great list.
Because, by the way, all from my college syllabus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No books I had chosen on my own.
Right.
And he literally just broke it all down and was like, you don't know enough. You don't know enough to write well.
Ouch.
I was like, what? He was like, you need more experience. You need to research. He was like, you think you just wake up and write? He's like, that's not what happens. He's like, yes, sometimes some people have some real talent that will allow them to write their first novel without any research, without any work. He was like, but no, if you want to write something significant, live and then write. Girl, I thought that was it. I was like, oh, well, first of all, why is this so serious? And also, I'm not going to write ever.
Right.
Right? Especially after I got into my career,
right.
Successes and the awards and all these other things. I was just like, well, why would I ever stop to write? And so the book, I feel like, found me versus me trying to find it.